Good afternoon and welcome to Get Hired, Stay Hired, the show for executive job seekers. It is your show. So first of all, if you are out there, if you're watching, hello, please say hello in the comments. Tell us what role you're looking for. Tell us where you are in the country. Tell us where you're up to in your job seeking journey. What are the blockers? And Sarah, you were saying, how are you feeling this week? Tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah, when you look at this week ahead, because I've spoken to some job seekers already this morning, and there's some specific feelings and thoughts about the week ahead. So what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Just one word that describes what you're thinking, what you're feeling about the week ahead.
Okay, so that should get us started. So who are we? I am Vanessa Ashworth. I'm a marketer. I am here not as a recruitment expert, but as an expert, I guess, in helping you to be visible and helping you to communicate your availability and what you want. And Sarah, who are you?
Who am I? I am an executive coach, and I work with senior leaders and leadership teams, helping them develop the right level of confidence and the skills to achieve a limitless success. I do a lot of work with executive job seekers and executives who are onboarding into new roles. And I'm the author of best-selling book Leader Unleashed, which is just behind me, which is specifically written actually for people who've had time out or are starting new roles. Specialize in imposter syndrome, helping people really develop the right level of confidence to be able to become a magnet for the things they want versus repelling themselves from the things that they want. My job, like you, I'm not a CV writing expert, but I am an expert an authority. What am I? I know stuff about how to get hired because I know what you can be doing better before, during, and after the interview process. So, have we got anybody in the chat yet? Do let us know.
I can't see any comments yet.
Can't see any comments yet either. So I want to start actually this week because you are in the throes of executive job seeking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure a lot of people will be in similar situation to you and feeling and thinking similar things. So how has last week gone? What happened?
So let's see, highs and lows last week. So there was quite a flurry of roles that looked pretty good for me last week. And I'm really, really very picky about what I apply for. I do not spray and pray. I think if a role looks like it's written for me, then I'll kind of throw my hat in the ring. I'll send off the CV. These are all through LinkedIn, I think. And I will try and connect with the recruiter, whoever's linked, and send messages. So I've done that this week. There are a couple of roles that I thought written for me. I must get a conversation in here. And then within 48 hours, the automatic reject email came through. And and it's either they want someone at a lower level, they don't want to pay my salary, maybe.
Well, this is the thing, is you have absolutely no idea with the auto reject. And we've got to be really careful not to pin it onto, is it because my salary is too high? Is it because I'm too senior? Is it because my age? We must avoid doing that at all costs, because the truth is, it is a numbers game, right? And I don't know how many people had applied for that job, but when I go looking at jobs, not that I'm looking to get a job, but I'm always looking at stuff that comes up to share with other people that I know. Already, it could be over 100 applicants and it's closed. It's only been open 24 hours. So if you're not in one of the first, I don't know, maybe 20, maybe 50, we don't know what it is. And there'll be a bot picking out keywords. So it's so important, isn't it, not to get yourself dragged down into thinking, is it this, is it that? Because if we do, what's going to happen? What will we start to do?
Absolutely. We've got to keep that confidence high and remember our value and our worth and hold on to it. And that's what this show is all about, isn't it? We know it's really rare to get a job from LinkedIn because hundreds of applicants go for each role. And they can afford, I guess, to be really, really picky. And go for the low salary expectations, whatever. But that's why being visible so that the job finds you is really important, and therefore then leaning into your connections and connect
Yeah, it really is a
fun,
good
isn't
time
it?
to be connecting. Just say hello to Malcolm. Thank you for joining us. In from Essex, come through a weekend cold. Oh dear, there's a lot of that around at the moment. I'm still punching and optimistic. Brilliant. That is good news. Hi, Karen from Buckinghamshire. Always optimistic, but it's getting hard after 5 months. Yeah, do you know what? You can keep putting on the smile, but it is a slog. It is a slog, and the only way to remain resilient is to know that you will get a job. You absolutely will. And it's just the time it takes. So, I've worked with people who've done it very fast. I've known people who've taken a lot longer. Some people it takes up to a year, but you will get that job.
And this is it. It is harder, isn't it, at the kind of executive level, because there are fewer jobs around, and they're looking for a specific experience. But the right job will come.
It will come, but we often have to go looking for it. And I know we've mentioned this before in previous shows, but I'd be really interested to hear from you, Karen, and from Malcolm. How are you applying for jobs? Is it just through LinkedIn? What else are you doing? And I've noticed, Vanessa, with you, it's very much what you've seen coming up on LinkedIn. So I want to quiz you on this as well. Is how else are you applying? Because if there are hundreds of people going for the same jobs, your chance to get seen and actually get onto the interview list is slim. What else could we be doing? Should we just see what Sanjay says first?
Oh, yes.
Before you answer? I've asked for specific feedback. Thank you for joining us, by the way, Sanjay. Seldom do I get a reply. I feel LinkedIn is being used to fulfill a requirement to advertise. Recently got a response from a company to say they wanted someone on London, but this was not stated in the job description. Do I push it further? So, I mean, yes, I think it's worth giving it a go if you can. You're not going to get. We've talked about. I hate to repeat myself over and again, but I guess we get different people every week. But also, this is really important to remember: is that you're not going to get specific feedback because they don't have time and they don't care enough to do that. Is that unfair? Probably. They haven't got the time. They haven't got the time to do it. And sometimes you don't get a reply at all, which is downright rude. Welcome to the new age of getting a job. I would say if it wasn't stated and you're not in London, I wouldn't bother because you're not going to get it anyway. But if you are, so I don't really understand the situation. So are you in London?
He's in Maidenhead.
Oh, you're in Maidenhead. Sorry. Okay.
They just outside.
Trains, I think, run in from Maidenhead, don't they? Of
course. I kind of think it's. I mean, I know I'm up north.
But it's literally like a half an hour journey or something. I think Maidenhead. So yeah, I mean, why not give it a go? I know you've pushed back on a few things, haven't you, Vanessa? When they've not.
Yeah. I pushed back at the last job I got. I got a no at one point, so I kind of went above them and got in contact with the hiring manager directly and got back in the game and then got the job. So it's always worth a push.
It's always worth a push. Yeah.
If you think the job's for you, if you think it's really worth for you, and you think that role is for you, then absolutely go for it.
Yeah, it's literally 18 minutes on the train. Yeah, it's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. So I'd go for it. And also, sometimes they don't realise the mistakes they're making. So it is worth it. So I'm just going back to Karen's comment, never go via LinkedIn. I always go to the company site. Okay, so if you never go via LinkedIn, I would encourage you to do that as well, because we want to hit everything. I'm not saying you're not going to get a job via LinkedIn, because people do, absolutely do. You've had a job via LinkedIn before, Vanessa, haven't you? So, but do go to the company sites, go to people you know. Yeah, all sorts of ways to get in there. Job boards. I remember when my husband was looking for a job a few years ago, he was told, don't bother going through job boards. And he was looking for a year. He's a senior leader in the IT industry. And the job he got was through a job board.
Yeah. Well, this is it. So a friend of mine just received an offer, actually, of a job. And that was... she was on a job board and a recruiter found her on there and then put her forward for a role.
So visibility matters, right?
Visibility matters. So it's important to be on the key job boards. Absolutely. And keep that CV updated there and keep refreshing it, as we all know, to tell them that you are actively looking, and it's your activity on the platform that tells them that. So re-upload your CV every week.
So Karen said it had some unhelpful feedback. Would be interested to know what was unhelpful about it, or what the feedback was, and we could see how it was unhelpful. Okay, yeah, let us know about that. So you've had a week where you've not had the successes that you've want. You remain optimistic because that's your choice to remain so. What are you going to do differently next week? Because
so there's two things, I think. So first of all, I've been getting the rejections. So if it's not me, it's the CV. So I'm going to have a good look at the CV again. Can I make it smarter, pithier?
Have you put
whatever?
it through AI just out of interest?
Yes, yeah, I did, because so I had what I thought was a wonderful CV, and then of course I had another job, so to put another job experience in it. But so I just wrote that in, and then I asked AI to shorten it back down to a couple of pages for me, just saving the job, and he did a great job. I had to kind of go through it carefully, and it's important to say in there, do not make anything up.
Yeah. Because clearly don't lie.
Yes, just make it shorter, but don't make anything up, please. And double check.
Yeah, and you were we started talking about just before we came on air about your need to go and get in touch with your previous connections, because a lot of jobs will come through who you knew before, and recommendations to other people. So every angle that you can do, and a lot of people don't like doing that. It's uncomfortable. I get it, but it's only uncomfortable if you make it uncomfortable. If you were in a job and your job was job seeking for you, you do everything you could in that job to go and speak to potential clients, and to grow your network, which allows you to spread across, all sorts of areas. Sorry, you're going to say something.
Yeah, I'm typical in that I don't pick up the phone, even to my friends. I don't use.
I don't think many of us do these days.
No, I know. But I think that could be something I should think about.
It'd be different, wouldn't it? Actually get a human being on the phone, yeah.
Wouldn't it? But it can feel a bit awkward to connect with people, can't it? But I think we have to remember that people love to help generally. And I read something this week about when you're connecting, be really specific. And so don't leave it what, I'm looking for a role. If you find anything or see anything in your company, please let me know. That's too passive. So it's more about, who do you know in your network who you can introduce me to? And
so being very intentional,
probably even more specific.
Intentional. I've just seen this. Malcolm says your audio sync appears to have an issue. I can't see it or hear it my end, but do let us know if that's still going on. But it's being very intentional, and that requires the confidence and the clarity on what it is you want and why so that you can have that conversation without showing off, without any ego. It's just, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, who do you know, and all of that lovely stuff. So I don't know how many of you out there that are listening at the moment have done that. How comfortable are you doing that? This is back to, I think, Karen, I asked you what the feedback was. They wanted to offer me the job, but a deal breaker was I should have contacted another regional person about the role. They wanted to see tenacity. Oh, get a grip. Not you, Karen. Sorry. Get a grip. Do you know what? This to me just says bullshit. We had two of you, and for some reason we just felt more comfortable with the other person.
This is a strange one, isn't it? When you get things like this, it's like they're playing a game, but they've forgotten to share the rules with us. And then they expect us to know that they
honestly, and to be honest, I would say lucky escape, because if that sort of behavior is happening at the recruitment process, what a load of bollocks will be happening inside that organization. Excuse my language, but seriously. So Malcolm said, rather talk to someone on the phone. Yeah, it's difficult to get the phone numbers, and people don't necessarily like being interrupted. They like to receive their communication when they want to, so they can look at their emails. But if you can get a number and it works for you, then then great.
So that was to this.
Sorry,
I just saw the great question mark from Lucy. But Mark asked, what percentage of senior level roles are filled by individuals that are not already in a role?
That's a really good question. I don't know, and I'm going to go and research that. I'm sure the likes of Natasha Cleave may be able to answer that question. But we'll find out. That's a really, really good question.
Yeah. So obviously that's executive headhunters or talent teams within organizations going out to market to search for people to fulfill a specific role.
I think most organizations, if we think about this, rationally, most organizations will look to fulfill a role internally if they can, for many reasons. One, because someone already knows, or they've got someone on their development plan, it saves them money and all those sorts of things. But there are always going to be times, especially at the exec level, where they need new input, they need fresh blood, they need new thoughts. And actually, you'd kind of want some forward-thinking organization to bring you in, wouldn't you? So I don't know, but we'll find out. Lucia, hello. Great question mark. I think there needs to be more done to get people back into the workforce. I agree.
I agree, but I think even if the executive headhunters are headhunting people and taking them out of a role existing, their role is then available. So one of us will get it.
Yeah, I mean, and we've got to remember this, although the pie seems quite small, it's actually really big, and pieces of the pie are moving all the time. But it is a numbers game. It is a holding on to your trousers firmly that we're going to do this, we're going to get through it. Sanjay, so looking to move from running my consultancy back into a permanent role. I've lots of trust. How is this perceived? My question is how do you perceive it? That's what matters. Not one of them, because people will perceive it however you perceive it yourself. If someone has got an issue with that, then they're probably, you're probably barking up the wrong tree in the first place. But I would be looking to work with people who had a real open mindset about bringing in those transferable skills. But tell me this, Sanjay, how do you perceive it?
Yeah. So I attended a webinar with a career coach, a free webinar with a guy called Anil Birdie this week. And that was really good. And he talked about kind of this kind of thing, and where if we kind of think back to our peak experiences where we felt creative, we've achieved loads, got great results. If we think about our career and those peak experiences, that can help us develop in our mind the kind of role we want and how our skills are extremely transferable. So I would, if I was you, I would kind of think about that and think about the skills that you've learned in consultancy and how that makes you absolutely unbeatable for the role that you want, and approach it with that kind of optimism and not worry about people's perceptions, because you obviously have a lot of value.
Yeah, and if you're worrying about it, they will pick up your worry. You will leak that out in everything you say. So everything that Vanessa just said, yes, absolutely. I want to know how you're thinking and feeling about it. And I'd also love to know how you would tell your story as to why you want to go from A to B, because that's really important. Because someone will say, well, that's great. Why do you want to move from consultancy into permanent role? If you go, you've got to have a really good reason. And be truthful about it as well, because they'll sniff out when the truth isn't there. Sorry, I'm just looking at, I'm trying to keep up with these. Lots of stuff great coming up in the chat. So Malcolm just said, I've been informed the 100 applicants phenomenon is apparently those clicking to have a look. Oh.
Yeah, the great unknown.
Yeah. A lot of bias against people out of work. Yes. Well, yes and no. I think, well, actually, is there, rather than yes, is there, or is that or do you perceive that bias? What I'd love, Lucia, is you to tell us where that bias has come from. Give me evidence. I'm not saying you're wrong, but give me the evidence, because I wonder if that's more what's going on in here than actually what you're seeing.
I would think it is. I don't think there is a bias. I think we all know that there are a lot of good people, a lot of executive people looking for work at the minute. And so therefore, I don't think that's viewed negatively. I don't view it negatively.
And again, this is, and coming to that point, what you've just said, and Helen said as well, it's a minefield, doesn't help build your confidence. If we are choosing to believe, and I can honestly, I really feel for you. I can only imagine how I would feel if I was job searching. Well, actually, I do kind of know, because I am always looking for jobs, but yeah, you know, for suitable clients to work with. So I do understand that. But I also know that I find it much easier to build relationships and acquire new clients when my confidence is right and I'm believing that it's possible. I believe next year is going to be great. It's turning out to be great. Obviously, you've got to do the work as well. But honestly, Helen, I'm sending you loads of hugs. I can totally imagine how this is difficult for your confidence. But you've got to keep in mind what's going on. Can you press buttons now? Because I keep pressing buttons.
Yeah,
I just want to get off the buttons because.
Okay, so Sanjay is honest with his reasons, keeping positive, and how we can add value to the organisation. That's great. Malcolm says, I'm just trying to catch up now. Malcolm is applying for jobs through Indeed, Reed, retail websites, local authority, Essex Police, and educational establishments. And obviously, I'm sure, Malcolm, you're also reaching out to those people more directly as well, and not just.
I just clicked one. Sorry, but that's because we missed Mark's.
Okay. With this morning's announcement from Government UK about getting 1 million young people back to work with a paid work placement, is that potential burden on companies going to result in them cutting others from the workforce?
Possibly. What's the positive spin on this, though? If you've got organisations that are willing to invest in young people, what does that tell you about their organisation? It's very easy, isn't it, to kind of hear something and see what might happen on the negative. But I'd love you, Mark, to think about and suggest what are the positives of this. What might be happening in the mindset and the culture of an organisation that embraces this? Because the more young people they have, the more mature, fine wines they need at the top, or at least really good ones, to help lead those people and make sure that they get the most out of them. So I don't know. What do you think out there? What do you think of Mark's comment? What's positive? I'm off the buttons again. Hands free.
Okay. So Malcolm says, this is crazy. He got feedback from applications that his experience was from 2024, way back when, and they wanted someone currently doing the role. I mean, that's an excuse again.
Yes, they've just got too many people applying, and yeah.
Why would, it makes no sense. Why would they want somebody currently doing the role? Because they've probably got a 3-month wait for that person to be available, an executive kind of 3-month waiting contract. Why wouldn't they choose someone who's available now? That's madness.
One of the things I was talking to someone about this last week was making sure whatever applications you are putting in, that you address potential issues in some shape or form in your covering letter. So whatever job you're looking at, and I'm not saying you can be a mind reader with everything, but something like this, I wonder whether, Malcolm, you could have looked at that and gone, my experience was a year ago. Now we know what you've just said, by the way. This adds to the bank of knowledge, doesn't it? So if my experience is a year ago, what might they be thinking? What are all the things that could possibly thwart my progress here? Pick the top 5 and then just aim for the top 3 and go and just cover that. Not saying, look, you might be wanting someone from a more recently, but my experience here was amazing. I remember. So I don't know, but are we managing and covering their biases as much as possible? You can't do it in a CV necessarily because you can't change the order of what you did something. What about in the covering letter, or picking up the phone if you get the number, or emailing them saying, look, I worked in this industry a year ago. Is that going to be an issue? Because you might find them going, actually, no, it's not. So then they can't use that against you. Did that make sense? My ramble. Good.
Yes.
Marvelous.
Yes. So there's been a few comments about this negative bias, and Lucia was saying that it's from her own experience of being on the recruiting side. And Samantha is saying, going back to that comment, about those who are currently not working, there have been several posts on LinkedIn from exec search headhunters saying they only look for people currently in position. And then they get plenty of comments saying you're missing out and get a grip. but there are still a number that do believe you only have value if you're currently working. And yet other executive headhunters, I saw Natasha Cleave's post at the weekend, and she's on the opposite end of that. She says, forget the pride, put your green ring on, let me know that you're available. So she would see that positively.
I think the truth is, some people will see it negatively, some people will see it positively. And what I would urge anyone to do is to know your value. And if someone, because not everyone's going to be right for you either. So, and if someone has gone against you because you are looking for a role you're not currently in role, or because you've got a green banner on and other people haven't got their green banner on, they are not your people. All right. You're not going to hit every single one, everybody's target. And that's okay too. It does mean that you are removing yourself from situations that probably wouldn't work once you got into work with them anyway. That's the way I like to think about it. It's a positive, resilient way to think about it. And sometimes you just want to scream at people. I understand that too. But the truth is there is going to be a bias, but just make sure the bias isn't in here and leaking out of you when you are applying for or in an interview situation. That's kind of my thought on it. What else?
So Mark says, you just said what I consider are the recruitment golden words, and that's build relationships. And that's what gets you hired. And I think quite often it is, isn't it? It's those introductions. So my plan this week is to reconnect with people and specifically ask them what I want them to do for me. Who can you introduce me to? And build more connections. So connect and use those connections to build more connections. And
it is a relationships game. It absolutely is. And I know we're in a world of AI and online recruitment processes, but the more people you know, the more people that like you, the more people that trust you and are talking about you, the more chance you are of going to get the job that you want on your terms in less time. That is the way it works. Nothing has changed there. How we connect and what stops us from connecting is always fascinating. It's this, should I say that I'm looking for a job? Am I a bit needy ringing up people? Somehow you need to get past that if that is an issue for you. Not everybody is having that issue, but it isn't going to work for you not doing all the extra bits as well. Go old fashioned. Do the old networking thing. There's plenty of people at our age when we're in an executive sort of level or senior level. We've met hundreds of people that we could speak to who have probably gone up the ladder and are in situations where they're employed. They might know people. So please, please, please find the courage and the confidence in yourself to list 20 people this week that you're going to get in touch with. Even if only 2 of them come back to you, it's worth it. And I do have a story of someone who did this not so long ago, and the person said, I would love to work with you again. We have nothing at the moment. And then 3 months later, they got back in touch and said, we have something. We'd like you to apply. You've got to be in it, haven't you?
Yeah, and we said this, don't we? It's marketing. You don't get an instant bite every time, but you've made yourself visible and memorable. And so when something does come in, they're going to remember you. So don't expect it to work this week, but it might in a few months' time.
So, Lucia, in response to Mark's question, I worry that the focus is young people out of work. There are a lot of highly skilled, mature people who are not registered as unemployed, so unemployment figures are not accurate. Yeah, you're probably right. And there's good reason for that as well, isn't there? Because what is the point? Because you get to go to a job centre and get told you need to be looking for a job. They have no jobs at your level that are suitable for you in that situation. So you're probably absolutely spot on there. It doesn't change the playing field really, because they're still going to need executives, but it can focus people on the wrong things when there are plenty of other very experienced people out there that need jobs too. Sanjay spoke to a recruitment expert recently who suggested consultancy was a trending thing and suggested non-exec director jobs. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if the person who suggested the non-exec director jobs also sold a course on how to become a non-exec director. Be careful. I mean, I'd love to do some non-exec director roles. I think that's great. Having a nice, career portfolio is fabulous. And actually, some of us get to a point in our career where it's absolutely the right thing to do. So it's worth exploring. And I think other conversations I've had over the last few weeks is helping people not see just black and white. I have to have this, not that. What if there are fractional roles? What if there are other things you could be doing, like non-exec roles, where you could be creating exactly the lifestyle that you want, but the salary that you need, but in a slightly different way? So yeah, I don't know how many people are in that situation where they could do that, but is it as black and white as it seems? I know your post this morning was about maybe I should become a general manager, because you are generally managing a whole process at the weekend. So, is that an opportunity?
And this is it. So this is the kind of what I took from this webinar last week about the peak experiences. What have I done in my career that gave me the greatest joy, where I achieved great results for the company, but also it was great for me, what and my learning and my growth, and looking back at things like that to then build this picture of where do I give the most and where does the company get the most from me, to try and define what that perfect role is. Now, I think it is a marketing leading role because that's what I absolutely love doing, but there's no reason why. I mean, if a CEO role came up for Rivington, and there isn't, but if that became more of a concern, that would be my dream role. I would spend 100 hours a week there. I already do. Might as well get paid for it. But I'd make it a huge success. But there's not an opportunity for that.
No, but it's nice to have your vision. I mean, we talk about not scattergunning, but we also need to be aware of what it is that really lights us up, so that our vision is open enough to receive that information when it comes up. Malcolm says, Sarah, I think you may have a point. Thank you. Which one? I've rambled a lot, so which point have I made? That would be good to know which one was good. What I'd love to know from people is, what we talked about today, I know I can feel there's some frustration, there's some worry about things that are happening in the government and everything else, and where the focus will be. Should the green banner be on? Are people just hiring internally or going for people that are already in roles? I hear all of that. What are you going to do this week differently than you did last week? Or what are you going to repeat doing this week that went well last week? Is it an action? Is it a mindset thing? Is it marketing? Is it visibility? Tell us the one thing you're going to do. And then I'd love to know is what's going to stop you doing that, because we can help you with that. Yeah, because we can have a good idea and then not do it. So what is it, the one thing that you really want to do, and what's stopping you from doing it?
Malcolm's answered your question. It was about the recruiter who suggested the non-executive.
Oh, the sneaky buggers.
There's a lot of them. I tried to find Natasha's post, but one thing she said is, do not pay thousands of pounds for advice or a new CV and things. And she actually lists people who she trusts as well. But.
Yeah, good. And so do follow, get in touch with Natasha, please follow her. She's definitely worth it. And she's going to be a co-presenter on here when I'm off in a few weeks, if we remember to ask her.
I'm not asked it yet. I'm not.
Okay, we must do that. Okay, so right, Vanessa, we'll start with you. What are you going to do differently? Is it a mindset? Is it a marketing? Is it an action, a skill? What is it?
It's actions and it's connecting. It's finding people and sending out some notes and inviting a few phone calls, I think.
Okay, how many?
Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to ask a few people to think about who they should connect me to, who they need to introduce me to. Not just say hello to them, but ask them for more connections. So that, good. I don't know. How many?
Pick a number, please.
Pick a number. Like you said 20. I mean, somebody will say it should be 20 every day, but I'll go for
Go for 20. What's
20 meaningful connections
good?
this week.
All right. And I just just on the language side of things, we talk about shoulds and need and everything else, but actually who could they? It's a really nice conversation to have. People like helping people. So Vanessa's committed to 20, so we'll pick her up on that next week. And in fact, if you want to put your commitments in here, we're very, very happy to keep you accountable next week. I'm going to keep an eye on all of these. Lucia, reach out to my recruiters to maintain the relationships as they are my lifeline right now. Okay, I want to know, you don't have to tell me this. How many of those recruiters are you going to reach out to? Who are they? When are you going to do it by? Is there anything that's going to stop you, Lucia, from doing that? Other than the fact they might not be there, but you could still reach out to them. And what are you reaching out to them for? What's the purpose? What do you want to happen as a result of that reach out? What's your intent? This is fun. I'm having a nice time anyway. So Sam, can I actually call you Sam? I think so. What are your thoughts on generalist versus technical specialist? I've found many roles that would normally be roles I'd apply or go for, but have become quite focused on technical specialist skills. What's the question here? What are your thoughts on generalist versus technical specialist? In what way?
So certainly I've seen where roles in the past would have been more generalist. There are a lot more specialist roles now. So maybe that's...
So are you meaning, Sam, should you go for them?
And I think
because they're specialists. So are you suggesting that you are not special? Yeah, okay. So you don't feel that maybe you have the specialism, or you're not a technical specialist. So remember, when people are putting job specs out, and I think it was you that said this years ago when we first met, Vanessa, about people are looking for unicorns that don't exist. And they might say that they want this speciality. But what I would do is I would go to them first, if possible, and say, these are my skills. Is it even worth me applying? You might not get that opportunity if it's just a LinkedIn process. But you decide, are you specialist enough? And is there anything, if it's like a tiny percentage of the whole thing, is it just we want the unicorn that doesn't exist? Or is it that we actually want a technical specialist? So just read the job description really carefully and see how big a feature that is.
Yeah.
What do you think, Vanessa?
Yeah, so I think so I've seen a few things like this, and I kind of think if somebody wanted a high level content writing, creative director type marketer, that's absolutely me. And we can forget all the kind of other things that I've done in marketing. Those things really light me up. I've got loads of experience in it. I'll come and do that for you. So look at the actual technical bit that they're looking for. Is that you? Do you have great experience in it? Does it light your fire? If it does, then go through your CV, rip out the stuff that's not relevant, really big up the thing that they're looking for, would be my advice, and put yourself forward.
Absolutely. Helen, I'm sorry, I don't know if we've missed a couple of things from you, but I've just seen this one. Don't worry about that, concentrate on job search. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, but I wholeheartedly agree with it, because we can, whatever that was to, we can get really derailed by a government initiative. And I appreciate they do impact things, but the more time we spend worrying about things that are not in our control. So if we think about our control, our sphere of influence, what can you influence? Only what you are doing and how you show up, and how confident you feel while you're doing that. So yes, to what Helen said, concentrate on the job search, keep doing you. Your job is out there, and try not to get derailed by the frustrations. Have them by all means, but maybe give yourself some time-bound limits to do it. Maybe a 15-minute frustration rant, and then we go, right, park it. What am I actually going to do today? How is that going to move me forward on the job searching side of things? So thank you, Helen. Well, yes, Vanessa would absolutely agree with this. If you see her post from today, she's creating all sorts of weird and wonderful things, as she does at this time of year. So yeah, charity. Oh, there we go. That's what happens behind the scenes in Ashworth Towers. Now you've lost your sound. But yeah, consider doing stuff. It does take your mind off it. And also, do jobs that, my husband, I go back to him, when he was looking for a role before, he started working with a friend of his who runs a carpentry business. He loved it. He was using his hands for getting paid, 100 quid, 200 quid a day, whatever it was. But whilst he's doing that, he's thinking. He's still able to come home and do stuff in the evening, but he's not constantly thinking about other things. He's doing something fulfilling that he enjoys. He's learning new skills. But yes, if you can do something that actually builds you valuable connections at the same time, then why not? Have you plugged yourself back in? I don't think we've got any. Oh, we're losing her altogether. You can't just wander off in the middle of a show. Okay, I think we might have lost Vanessa, but I'm going to bring this to a close. What I want to say is, do keep the comments coming in. Please help us by telling us what you need answers to, questions on, our thoughts on. I hope this has been really helpful for you today. It is a bit of a mindset refresh for a Monday. So keep bringing the questions in, but also let us know what it is you're committing to doing this week. And let us hold you accountable and see how you get on. Don't worry, I'm handling it all. Just smile and wave, Vanessa. Smile and wave. Everyone smile and wave, Vanessa. And let's just, one final comment, hold on, from Lucia. Okay, she's going to reach out to those recruiters who've been proactive and supportive during my role in Search Good, also maintain connections to stay on their radar. You're right, it is a candidate-driven job market, so work hard to build relationships. Good for you. So just think about the intent behind it. What you want them to do clearly is to keep you in mind, but that's spot on. Let us know how many of those proactive things you've done, how you're getting on, and we will see you next week. And I've lost Vanessa altogether, so I'm going to say goodbye from both of us. We will be back next week at 1 o'clock for more Get Hired, Stay Hired. I will see you soon. Thanks for joining us.